Hello, gamers. Hello, noobs. With me is a player, legendary player, SH player, Avalon player, player who dislikes Marm but likes Multi. He loves 3.1s, especially when they fail. Diamond, great Merlin, great spy, SH tournament winner, Avalon tournament winner. Let's welcome vice captain of the Avengers, Manu.
This is how you do it, huh? Okay. All right, all right, all right. So we have a duo game that we're commentating today, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I have not actually officially won a Sage tournament yet. Unfortunately.
Well, there's one that you're about to win in 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm not playing.
Fuck.
I'm not gonna play a Sage. Ew. I hate that game. Ew. It took too much time. Anyway. All right, so 1.1 is just wait, which team is Mr. Walrus? I think it's Team 6.
Team 6,
Uh
yes.
I can mention coach's name, right?
Yeah, I think we can because people will watch this video like after.
After the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Salty is Team 6, and then that was quite insta pick. I feel like that's more of a VT or Assassin pick. I don't think it feels like a Percy or Merlin pick. So for the first 1.1 already, feels like a VT gun. So we marked that. And 1.2 is I hate picks like 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
Like on picking hammers, I know you do it as well, Pat, but like on picking hammers like ninth Spire Merlin, it's like bribing. It's like I feel if it's more of a spy move than a res move because you don't really provide much information on picking hammer, and it's just like, hey, I wanna res you, and then like I wanna be on the mission. It happens quite often when you're like uh having bad spy hammers, for example, 1, 2, 1, 3, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't really like 1.2 as a rest pick.
It seems to me like you think that 1.2 is a selfish move.
Yeah, I just generally avoid people who do that if I'm hammer, especially if I'm 1.5. I see it, I'm like, I don't care about you. You res me doesn't mean I'm gonna res you back
You heard
unless
that,
1.4.
everyone. You
Yeah,
don't
okay.
unpick Manu.
Because let's say if I'm red, right, and then that person is resing me, what information do I get from it? I learned this from I learned this concept from Enoob. I think it's been working pretty well. Here, Enoob, I mentioned you.
So 1.3 is pretty standard.
Yeah,
1.4 is
1.3.
gonna be where stuff happens.
Let's see who 1.3 coach is. Oh, it's Enoob. Okay. Oh, I don't think coach had anything to do with it. I think it's pretty standard pick. It's a bit more
Wait,
it's a bit more direct.
uh, well, actually, I was expecting 1.3 to be something like Squirrelin and Obey Mr. Warless, but
Okay.
Origami Chief was off-picked with. Oh, interesting.
Well, that was the only pick left. Remember that game where Marcus was Merlin?
When who was Merlin?
Lamarcus was Merlin. I was coaching. We have one pick because if you off pick Square Merlin and Mr. Warus, you're just pretty much killing Square at 1.3, and there's no actual reason to kill Square at 1.3. So like the basic logic is always off pick an on picker. You know, I know a lot of people ignore this concept. I
Mm-hmm.
hate it so much as an Avalon player, and these days more of a commentator. I want side to improve, and then people, including you as well, not criticizing you, but like they ignore the on picker a lot, and let's just assume 1.2 is actually two spies, and 1.3 just decides to kill out Square. It happens quite often. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
1.4. Uh, why is this happening?
Why is this
I,
happening? It's a good question.
I don't buy right hand side clean. Well, the add to the right hand side is actually, well, there are two adds actually. Wrath is not the add to this. And
You said Raph is not an add to right hand side. Why do you think
I
so?
don't buy it. I don't buy 1.1, 1.2 as 2 spies. And I don't really buy 1.2, 1.3 as 2 spies either. I feel like the only add to this is only Mr. Walrus.
You
I
know,
guess,
if it's salty picking 1.1 through Obey Mr. Walrus, then I would be considering right hand side and Raph. She really likes to off pick her cosplay.
it's just 1.1 is, I don't know if I missed it or not, but it was picked pretty quickly when when the game started. So I
Oh yeah,
feel
you did
like
mention that.
if it's actually right inside plus Wrath, this is a concept from Mare Hat, the one that I call Hat. It's not useful to off pick spy. Like you want to get them on mission, but like not being too aggressive. So 1.3, 1.6 is a good pick here for 1.1, for example, Assassin or Morgue. But I don't really buy right hand side clean unless it's right hand side plus Walrus again.
To be fair,
So
I
the
can
add
I
to
can see the idea of like if Obey Mr. Walrus is spy on right hand side clean, then him instantly off picking with Raph or Origami Chief spies, it's very strange. I feel like if you would be a
yeah,
spy with bad seeds, then
I
you at
guess
least
this
take a second.
I guess this has two ads, which is 1.1 or 1.2. Wrath should not be the ad to this. I really don't buy 1.1, 1.2 spies. Anyway, can be wrong.
That is. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
so if I look at from Salty's POV right now, this has two ads, which is actually this doesn't really have an ad to this. Wrath is not add to this. I don't think it's bottom unless like she off picked two res.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea where 1.4 is coming from. It mm, who is Squirrely Merlin again? Oh, it's Mayor. It's Mayor. So it's team 3.
Mayor indeed.
So
No chat
1.4
so
is
far, and I can
oh,
expect some chat after M2 fails.
so 1.4 should not be a Morgana pick. I don't think. I really dislike the hardware Morgana on pick somebody at 1.4 because it really limits the team. But if you like off pick two people, it can be very vague to which spies would want. Like you want to open teams up. If you on pick somebody, it's basically you're locked with that person almost entire game, and you can't
Especially
really push.
especially when you do it as 1.4.
Yeah. So Scarlet Merlin is either a Merlin. I don't. I already ruled out SM. I'll call him SM or like Mayor as a non Morgana. So if Scarlet Merlin is like let's say Percy to OC or ninth, it doesn't make any sense for 1.4.
So no
I'm
accuses so
curious.
far.
Um, yeah, because there's actually no reason to accuse one M1 because Zigzag is available, like anti salty, anti SM is very valuable to both OC and RAF. So I see no issues with like everybody just in my words punting because every tournament game that I witnessed or like saw from the VH most of the time they're just punting. They're actually quite punting M2s a lot.
Yeah, I've also noticed that, yes, there was this RAF game, there was RC, all of them should have been accusing. I'm
Yeah,
talking
even
about game number
even
2 and probably the 18.
even my Merlin game, everybody just punted. Like it's like, uh, okay. Some of the POVs were actually making sense that they don't have to accuse, but I I really think Rat should accuse like right hand side. I would have off picked right hand side, but that's just my personal preference. Uh, okay, so I think right hand. I think a game will be much better for us as a commentator if right hand side fails because if
Definitely.
right hand side fails, Wrath becomes pretty much a spy, and assassination becomes very boring. We need more crit. We need more info. As a tournament organizer, we don't want M2 clean games.
Squirrel is thinking about something.
Did you play in tournament 3?
Oh, yes, I think I did. In
Jared?
Daddy
I think
Issues, I think.
no, I think it was Max's team, 96ers or
Oh,
something.
yes, that would be that.
Yeah. So it was the first tourney that we hosted, right? And then I pretty much did. Oh, whoa. Okay, this is such a mayor pick. This is such a mayor pick, bro. The mayor is controlling this. No shot. This is picked by him. Anyway, can it fail? Can it fail? Can it fail?
Red
Come on, can it fail?
Obey thinking whether to float, asking his coach.
Oh dear. Well, if anybody is floating, it's on me. Mayor again. Um. Check. I don't understand how this is picked again, and
No clue either.
it's not a it's not a VT pick. So because there's absolutely zero chat or like social read, so he's just Merlin framing Panda or just Situ Origami maybe.
Can he
Versatile
be
Origami and
actually
Wrath.
framing Panda after doing 1.4?
Yeah, but I think it's quite ridiculous to not pick. Yeah, again, this team has no Wrath, so Wrath should be on M3. It's an absolute must. You know, there's a lot of people unpursing Epic 3.1 just because, oh, you know, M2 is clean, we can get away with this, and just praying for it. Ugh,
Yeah, I
so
also
much
dislike it.
players.
This is something I've also noticed. When people see MTU's blue, they just go crazy. Percival's on Percy, VT's hero vote, and then after M4 fails, well, it's looking
They're just back to.
pretty grim.
I mean, there is one thing that spies. There's an argument for both, obviously. Floating means even if it's like bad M1s, cleans are. I mean, it's not obviously insta-picked, but there's a chance that people will add garbage just because M2 is floated, and the res will be like, oh yeah, we have a bit of insurance, even if you know M2 floated and it goes to M5. So I'm pretty much very against the idea of floating. I probably like float once in 20 games, probably almost never as a gun. So this game, assuming Wrath is res, Squire Melon is sorry, Wrath is spy, Squire Melon is a res. Yeah, I don't really buy Spymate putting on Spymate and floating M2, which this will be kicked almost instantly either way. I don't like this as a team anymore. And I'm a 3.1 hater, as everybody knows. I mean
What would you pick
the
here?
one team I want to see is like left hand side Panda. Yeah, okay. Wow, that got insta apt. I don't like this at all.
Then okay, if MTU fails, which I really hope does, we are in for a very interesting crit.
Yeah, well, I don't know why Wrath is apping that because
And he says, ha, 4
uh,
apps on 3.1.
I I don't understand why Wrath apps this, but I feel like Wrath has to be Merlin and hoping somebody rejected this and empty floated. Otherwise, if Wrath is spy and apping this, you're pretty much in a softer way game throwing because you're not getting any more info on M3s, right? You know how people hyena rejecting everything just to see and just to
Yeah,
try to
that's
get
true.
any. And he's not an add to M2 because you know like 1-1.
You know, Tom actually said something very similar. That when he sees everyone upping on 3.1 like that, he starts instantly doubting M2.
Yeah, of course, because And especially from Wrath POV, Raiden's M2 is probably not clean. It should not be clean. 1216, very unlikely with Wrath as a res, right? Because 1-1 is wrong, 1-4 is wrong, and suddenly 2.5 happens. Who's actually Merlin on this Wrath res team if M2 is clean? So I feel like M2 floated with, for example, I don't know why anybody would float this M2 though, unless it's just Mayor again.
Isn't it interesting how
So
Panda is stalling this pick? And
what
she
the?
doesn't pick into M2
Wait,
here.
who is Panda's coach?
That's Team 4, so
It's Ref.
referee. Interesting.
Not picking M2. What the hell is this? Not picking subset of M2, really? Well, this is a resign, surely. No res picks this. So I feel like it's so it's NT1316. Really? Huh. Okay, well this is not a res pick, that's for sure. Or if Panda picked it on her own, I don't know the gender, but
What if it's left hand side and Panda with Ralph Merlin and Panda Percival?
good, nobody picks this though. 4-1 is so suicidal and unnecessary. So if this is probably clean, the ideal world would be OC is the what is it? The Merlin, and probably the ad. But I'm very interested how Team 3 does this because 1.4 and then suddenly 2.5 is such a mayor pick. And you know, they're not supposed to be puppets. I don't know how people do it. I last game I play with Lamarcus, I pretty much let him do everything he wants. And then I asked him what he did, and then he's like, "Oh, I rejected." I was like, "Oh dear, you should have approved." But you know, it's too late. But 2.5 feels very controlled.
So Ralph is thinking, just like Panda was thinking, is he also gonna be accusing, thinking that something happens? And it just looks
I think
like you
it's
mentioned.
it's very interesting how 3.1 is apped by 4 people who are not M2 ads by especially Panda and Wrath. Okay, this chat is very unnecessary. Like M2 is gonna get picked regardless. So what is he even trying to achieve?
And he's also gonna be Hammer after M4 fails, if it fails. So it
I
does seem
don't
like
like.
it's anti-Panda and Ralph.
That's rough. I mean, it's so rough because I don't like my player doing okay, well OC is
Team 1.
kinda outing kinda
Ah, that's
outing.
what you mean. I'm the only ad, he's...
I don't know when people say I'm the only ad, it's just Merlin knowing M2 is clean or like just spy try to get on it, you know. It's very pointless.
Well, there's something happening right now. And I don't see the
No,
point of it, really.
okay. There's one more commentary I want to add is that our player, ninth, pick 3.1, right? Now look at it from her, I don't know if it's he or her, from, I think it's a girl, so like put it in ninth POV.
Ninth is Mayor.
Uh, yeah. It's our team. And like, she picked 3.1. Now, question is, she claims M2 doubled, right? On 3.1. And if M2 fails, oh dear.
Pandemania is a
Oh,
spy. What is this pick even? What's going on?
what? This is seriously 1316. And OC is Merlin. I'm gonna GM OC for now, but Okay. So, seriously, what did I just witness? If this ever clean,
Oh dear.
please, please.
If
Okay.
this
Well,
fails,
rage quit.
this is my dream.
Well, it better fails. We get more commentary. I get more time because I don't really have any more time after this.
Well, they will take 30 minutes on shot. That's for sure.
I just don't like 3.1 as a pick. Oh, it actually is 1316. Okay. So why is 3.1 app by Assassin? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Such a mayor pick, man.
1.4 into 2.5, you say it's a mayor pick, but what do you mean by that?
He loves doing this, like on pick randomly and then just pick something else totally
Uh,
different in M2.
You're just ignoring
He
his
does,
own on pick.
yeah, he does it as a res and he also does it as a spy. I think he's the only player who like doesn't stick to his own pick in M1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna GM OC for now. I think 1.1 is very VT.
1.1, and it was picked instantly, so yeah, I can imagine this. Like, if you have PR info, you are invited to think for at least a second.
Um, Again, 3.1.
It shouldn't be apt, definitely.
Yeah, Panda should reject because
Oh dear. So what are
okay.
you talking
Well,
about?
oh no, I wanted to explain to no, I wanted to say about something like 3.1 pick here again because it claims M2 doubled, right? If it's floated,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because you have to assume that M2 always floated, no matter what your role is. You just have to play according to it in M3. Now, imagine if M2 actually floated and the 3-1 failed. What info does Ninth have? She doesn't have any but, like, she's gonna claim M2 single, M3 single. I think it's very silly. And people don't really think about it this way that, you have to um, be very careful when you app a team where you'll be divided like this. There's one spy in M2, one spy in M3 if you're res. And especially if you're a VT, you're not gonna find out which one is spy and who is the other spy in M3 and M2. And in M4, it becomes a very tricky position that you have to spy somebody anyway, because you're kind of required to pick up somebody, right?
Well,
And
I was thinking
yeah,
about this 3.1 because after 2.5, if I'm ninth, I will think that 2.5 is Squirrel and Merlin's only team. After 3.1 fails and then M2 fails, you can rest Mr. Walrus and Spy Squirrel and
okay,
Merlin.
sure. Now, if that's the case, why would you not um get more info by picking Mr. Walrus anyway? Because for example, well, I guess you don't really have it. I mean, left hand side works. Left hand side knife works very perfectly. Because like you said, if Merlin SM is spy and Walrus is the res on M2, then why would you not get more information on it that by picking Walrus's team? Because like I mentioned, I don't think Salty floats that M2 ever. I think it's quite ridiculous to assume from 9 POV that Walrus is the floater, unless Walrus is Morgana and Squire Merlin is Assassin, and really buy that combo by 3.1. I don't see it because, like I mentioned from the beginning, Walrus should not be really Morgana, more like Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
So that should have been considered from 3.1 POV. Anyway, um, what's this? Okay, I feel like OC is probably Merlin this game, but we never know, right?
It would be, well, Emprise
Yeah,
didn't really
there
give
we go.
us anything.
Yep, Percival to Chief. that works.
So I hope my player. Well, we are on the same team, so we both win or lose. Again, and we are the first and the second team.
Well, if I was team 5 right now, Wrath and Yinub, I'm actually very, very tilted at 3-point apt by Assassin because you don't get to hunt anything. So why are both spies apping this?
Well, it is what it is. No, I wonder.
GM
I
those.
have no idea who they should. You seem pretty certain it's Origami Chief because he was I guess fooling around in M4.
Yeah, he was talking. Oh yeah, Wrath doesn't seem to like M2. Um, it means I'm the only ad. It's such a like what do you call it? More like a punt chat. You know, you're not likely added to M2 anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Well, you are
Who's
correct,
the
very
host?
correct about this game so far.
Yeah, I don't think 3.1 is ever Merlin pick. I think it's quite it's very very gambling on M2 clean. If I was coaching, for example, I would probably say Salty's never floating that M2. Well, I should not know who Salty is, but I guess
What do you think
anybody
is a
on
good 3.1 at that POV?
I think it should be left hand side because I said not because of 1.4 because it could be two spies, but like you're trying to find a team. Uh, I'm saying if M2 is blue, right? It's not really a place where Walrus should be floating. So from if I was ninth in her POV, I think I would always pick up something with him or pick reject this 3.1 because you claim M2 doubled and Salty floated that, which is I don't really buy it because I don't see a reason for Mr. Walrus to float this M2 unless it's actually doubled Morgana Assassin, right?
Yeah, I would definitely pick Walrus. It's just I don't think I would pick left hand side and myself there because just 1.4 setting up co-spy sure possible, but probably unlikely. And then
Yeah,
any other team like you have anti-OC, Squirrel in Merlin has bat 1.3, bottom bat 1.1. So
yeah, I feel pick reject it should be more viable, but well, I don't know why Panda app 3.1. Yeah, well, if you do you remember there was a time I think in T5 I pretty much analyzed and commentated pretty much everything on a
mhm.
PDF file that I watched. I would be very very highly critical about this app because you don't get any info. You could pick like left hand side Panda on 3.2 or like even bottom
Yeah, I was
because
thinking
you
about
need to
bottom
get
exactly.
you need to get info and you have 3.1 and then now we're stuck if I was a spy. And Wrath is obviously Merlin Morgana tapping that.
The 2.5 is such an interesting pick. Moving screen.
Feels like
I
the
would
mayor.
hope that if he would be VT, that would be very, very cool to see. Is it such a
If
risky pick?
if it's VT, it's
Could he be even
it's
VT? I mean, I've never seen him do, or I have never seen anything like this, well, at least recently.
I I want to see the team chat of Team 3 after the game. I'm not gonna comment on it, but because it's very interesting how this is done from SM. I've not had plenty games with him, probably like 3 max, but I've not. 1.425 is just very, very mayor pick. I agree, right hand side can be picked, but because it has two ads, Wrath doesn't really have a team this game. I think it's because of 1.2 pretty much.
What about left hand side? And well, yeah, I mean he has teams, but they are just unlikely.
Very limited.
What about
Left hand side,
Badamon's
nice.
pick, like Anti Panda and Origami Chief?
Yeah, well, 1-1 is bad, 1-3 is okay, 1-4 is awful, 1-5 is just following.
Yeah, I didn't really like that either. He would have to be like, oh, I don't think he's Merlin. Or maybe. Yeah, I guess
Again,
this is the team for him, and
oh,
yeah.
I also know how Origami plays most of the time. I don't feel like 1.2 is a Merlin pick, unless, sorry, 1.2 is not a VT pick. He off picks a lot of weird things, trying to rest somebody. Not always, but I've seen it quite often. He randomly reses somebody on a flip pick on 1.1. And I think was this conversation between him and Coach. I think it's Dusa. They're maybe like, oh yeah, I don't want to out PR. Let's just unpick one of the hammers and try to get it on M1.
Uh,
I feel like it's just OC, but SM to OC works very very well. It's just questionable why SM decides Panda is gone on that line. Right? Because he picked two BTs if OC is Merlin.
yeah, I mean, 2.5 is something that if I would be assassinating right now, I would have huge trouble with that pick. And I don't know if I just wouldn't shoot it. Because
Actually,
it's.
I'm just gonna change the GM to SM. I don't see why he assassins Panda over ninth, or was he just what is the term? Was he just
Gambling, perhaps?
checking Merlin's reaction on 1 2 3 2 4? Is that it?
Hmm. Well, he could also be trying to take 50-50, thinking that Panda is Morgana, and trying to frame ninth. But it
Hmm.
seems
Is it?
unreliable.
Oh. Pass it to Mr. Walrus. I don't really like that either. I think there will be a lot of post discussion about why he's gone
Well,
upping.
so if we assume that Squirrelin is Percival to Mr. Walrus, then he has 1.3 in the game. And 1.3 if he's Percival to Raph and Squirrel and Obey. It's right hand side. It's Raph's team. You see, because OC would be Assassin.
Yeah, it can be anti 1115, I guess, on Wrath Merlin team. It's 1113. Sorry, 1112 or 1115.
So, and yes,
Walrus to Origami. Ew, that's quite ew. How much time do we have? I think they spent about half. Yeah. Did you? Who's the host? Are you the host?
Yes, I'm the host, but I can't type because it's muted to spectators.
I think tournament organizers can chat through it.
But I don't have the T, so you would have to tell them.
Oh, you don't have the T. Oh, you don't have the T yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll DM Pranav. You should DM Pranav. Just say,
Sure.
I'll do it.
Squirrelin could be VT or Merlin. Oh wow. The 2.5 of this game. Carrying the game and probably well the Percival lines. Did any type of stall happen on 1.5?
No, I don't really buy 1.5 3.1 Merlin. I really don't like it because 3.1 is very rejectable
So he
if
would
it's
have
Merlin.
to be Percival to Origami Chief by... There was no chat. Did Origami Chief like stall for ages or
Nothing,
something?
nothing. I saw 2.3 was quite also insta picked.
Yeah,
2.4 was
so
also a little.
why is he... He can't be Percival. He would have to be VT or Merlin.
I think if SM is Percy, I think SM is Percy to Salty only because 1.3.1.1 just doing 1.4 to see what kind of um what do you call it? Doing getting reaction from
Mm-hmm.
2.2.2.4 and then he just decides 2.5, yeah. But I don't like 1.1 as a Merlin pick. I think it was quite picked pretty fast. But it can be wrong because I told Lamarcus to pick it as fast as possible. But in our game, there was literally one pick left. There
Uh-huh.
was no other pick. And this, maybe um, Mr. Walrus, I've never seen him play. I don't know how he plays. But maybe Salty was like, oh yeah, just off pick, one res, one spy, who's near to you as soon as possible to look like a BT. Maybe.
It really seems very unlike what Salty would say.
Yeah. So I don't like 1.1 Merlin already, right? From the beginning. 1.2 is again, like how Morgana Merlin picks those just to try to get, or like Assassin.
Mm.
Actually, anybody can pick it, probably except for Percival.
You know, I would never should squirrel into Mr. Walrus, just because Raf's team is exactly right-hand side, and him picking 2.5 is, well, if it fails, then he's fucked. So, why would he do that? You know, right-hand side, very logical, very safe, a VT pick, and Raf can be marked anyway when it fails. And the next thing is, could he be VT doing that? Big question. Makes me really think because 1.4 seemed how can I say it? Random, maybe? And then he picks 2.5, so I really can't find myself trying to talk about that pick. I am very curious whether he's Merlin. So Origami is actually gonna die, I think.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the assassination would end up because they would, like what they said before, it would be very dumb to not shoot 2.5. But, it feels like a hero shot in a way.
It does. It actually does, yes. Shooting Origami... We were talking about like his Merlin since the beginning, to be honest, about from M4. But really, the stat shows here is always squirreling. And now the
Um,
question. Since, like you
well,
said,
again,
it's the mayor's pick, would mayor
yeah,
suicide without a frame?
I can be obviously wrong, but I really don't think Salty is Merlin this game. So it should be 1.2 or 1. I mean, it's 1.2 or 2.5?
1, 2, or 2, 5?
Yeah, that would be my
Ah,
top shot.
the shots.
Because 2.5 frames, who? Is he trying to be Percy to both left hand side or like um I don't like him Percy to Salty.
This
I don't
doesn't
I don't
let me
feel like
be, because mayor has no frames on 2.5. What frame does he have, really? He's 50-50 into Panda Morgana? And for what? That would be framing ninth, like I was thinking, but well, she's not. She's assassin actually.
Try a VTB in Origami's position. Would you say any of what he said in M4? Because you know 4.1 is pretty much outing Spy. Yeah? Because there's no reason for Panda to accuse because she can be an ad to M2.
Mm-hmm.
And 4.4 stalls. Rat starts talking, and if you're the res of M2, you know he's also Spy. Like
Yeah. If MTU's clean, then he
I
starts
see.
talking. Yeah.
Right, be right back.
So that was all. This was a very very sane question because OC starts talking like in a very chill way, almost like he knows that the game is about to end. And well, I think that if I would be Res in Origami's position, I see 4.1. Well, I wouldn't instantly spy it, especially if I would be VT. I would be thinking Animania, new player, maybe it's PR suiciding or trying to shade them too. So I would be more observant.
Uh, it's different because this is not a player only game, you know? You don't pick non-subset of M2 in a coaching game. It's definitely just pretty much outing Spy
Mm-hmm.
because you lose mission just because you picked wrong. For example, let's just say it was um anti OC and Wrath, for example, and 4.1 happens.
Mm-hmm.
And if it gets 3 apps and Wrath off apps, then you lose mission because Walrus is gonna add OC to M2. Yeah.
Very, very likely.
So it should never ever happen unless if 4.1 is just pretty much out of spot. There's no point of if I was OC in anybody's shoes, 4.1 is just pretty much confirmed spot. I see no reason to talk about it if it's VT. So he knows, so Panda knows M2 is floated for OC's POV. And yeah, I there's a reason for me to GM OC. I flip back and forth, but again, if I go back to his M4 chat, I think it's very, very unnecessary as a VT. It's spy. And for example, if M2 is failing, Panda is spy of M2, so Rat becomes confirmed resident 5.5, and you don't really need to talk about anything else until like 5.5.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah, I do think so.
I,
He has no
do
point
I
in talking.
do I just flip back to origami? I feel like I want to.
So, by the way, the spies have decided to not shoot Squirrelin. They will shoot inside of Origami and obey Mr. Walrus. And they have just 8 minutes left. It would be very, very interesting to see Ninth flip Merlin. Should they talk? Do you think it's like genuine? Well, I don't think this is a good question because whether he's being asked, whether he's asking to be added on 4.5 genuine or not, really doesn't mean anything, even if it's not genuine. Like, if it's not genuine, I just don't see the point of this social reading question.
Yeah, it's pointless to say anything about it. Yeah. Uh, man, if he actually gets shot because of that,
Oh, I
I
hope
don't
it's
know.
just Squirrel and Merlin suiciding, and it
All
worked.
right, we're one team. Right, we're one team again. But generally speaking, from objective point of view, I really don't think that M4 chat was necessary.
fake chat, but well, he could be really asking to be added. Like if it's fake chat about asking to be added to M2, how would it be fake? It could be fake talking about M4, but not asking to be added, I feel like. Oh. They have what? They have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, 6 minutes. There's nothing else to discuss, but no, the point of duos is we're trying to let the players play, you know. And last time, I mean, every single time I coach, pretty much is like I let them do whatever they want, basically, and then give them feedback after they pick it. 2.5 doesn't really feel like a genuine Twilight Merlin play. You know, it feels kind of unfair in a way. But I need to find out who actually did it first. But if this is actually just Mayor telling what to do, this kind of defeats the whole purpose of duos. Of course, there's no rule book on how the coaches should play. Honestly, whether people believe it or not, it's just I don't mind the duo. For example, if I'm a coach, we're losing, as long as the player learns. I think that's the whole concept of it. And if I don't know if you watched that game where the Marcus was Merlin, did you?
Yes, I watched every single game this tournament.
Okay. Yeah. So when Scorcha was Percy to me, to us.
Wait a second. Sorry to interrupt you. They are about to shoot.
Okay. All right. Already. What? Wait. How is?
They want to shoot to Walrus actually.
Really? Oh
Yep.
dear. I don't feel like that's ever a good shot, but we'll see.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
And the Merlin was.
Oh my god. Oh my.
Oh, what a shot!
Oh dear.
They won.
Oh dear.
2.5 was
Oh
VT
dear.
who lost.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Wait, we lost.
Oh my god, this is a very good shot. Based
Oh,
on some
good GM
social
by coach.
reading. Oh. Coach 6 was... Oh, it was salty. Very, very good GM. So 1.1 was instantly picked by Merlin.
Oh,
Wow, that was a
okay,
good pick.
so all right. Okay. Well, commentary over.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.